I'm happy to be here today. I do wear a few hats in this town, and very joyfully wearing them. I do really believe in community and bringing people together. I really believe in healthy culture and healthy economics in any place. Today, I feel lucky to represent the Ely Area Tourism Bureau, which is a group of people who are from this area who work for the Bureau, who are top tier, professional, wonderful people. And the work that they produce to market and advertise this area and tell the story of who we are is honestly out of this world. I hope I can do them justice today with this presentation because it really is impressive what these people are doing. When I do presentations, I do get nervous. So if you feel my heart beating, just know that I feel it too. And if I do appreciate like head nods and stuff, and that helps me feel like this is a real experience. So just know I invite you to like let me know if things make sense, or if things don't make sense, let me know too. Last thing I'll say is I have this presentation up here. I also am going to be clicking through my computer. So if I get a little bit overwhelmed with clicking, just give me a second and I'll try to keep myself on track. But thanks again for being here and attending this and giving me your time. I really do appreciate it. So, okay, here comes the clicking begins. Today's presentation, I want to introduce you to a couple things. Generally, the Ely Tourism Bureau and what we do and how we're funded, which is through lodging tax. So I'll try to give you my best orientation that I can to how lodging tax works in our area. I'll also go into some nitty gritty of some projects we're doing to help that system and to optimize that system and make collection of that lodging tax easier and community oriented, really. And then I'll kind of back out of there and show you some of the material that the marketing team is showing to the world too, and just orient you to that great content. We don't always see it here because we're here. We're already here. So the content we create goes out to the world again to tell people about what we're doing and hope that they visit us here. So let's see. Just showing the makeup of who we are here. In the top layer of that dark blue color, we have a marketing director, Whitney Woods. Beth Chapman is our lodging tax manager, and my role is the community relations and administrative coordinator. That's generally what we do. Those are our kind of three main categories. And as you can see, underneath Whitney, the marketing director, is where most of our work happens. The Tourism Bureau is a marketing agency, essentially. We market and advertise. So the people that work on that team are Sarah Vogel, Chris Ellerbrook, Alicia Roller, Brett Ross, and Lacey Squire. And they all really do incredible content work, whether it's media, web development. Alicia's on social media, and then Brett and Lacey work on the podcasts. So that's that team. Again, wonderful community members, highly professional people doing great work. And then over in my realm, as the community relations and administrative coordinator, I also work with Alicia, being our office manager, and Lacey, who does some organizational liaising for us too. The Tourism Bureau also has a board of directors. We meet with them regularly and make sure that they are in the know with what our plans are, what we're doing. They steer the ship and we do the work. So we're really appreciative of those people too. The board is made up of business owners or business managers who own a lodging business, a hotel, a motel, a resort. They own places that people stay overnight. So that's who our board is made up of, and we really appreciate their time and their work with us too. So the Ely Area Tourism Bureau, we serve this whole area. I don't know how often it happens where people assume we are the city of Ely's Tourism Bureau, which is fair. It's in our name. I get it. And the city of Ely is a central hub in this area, of course. But we also serve Fall Lake, Town of Morse, and then unorganized territories of St. Louis County. So if you can imagine all of the hotels, motels, resorts, short-term rentals that are outside the city of Ely, we are trying to represent that whole area. So just some awareness of who we're representing. So we're going to get into lodging tax nitty gritty. I know there's a lot of words on here. I'll say some of them, so no pressure to read it. But in 1986, this area, this district wanted to start collecting lodging tax so we could start marketing and advertising our area to get people to show up. Because we are representing at that district, a joint powers board was created. So there's one person from each of those entities on that joint powers board. Town of Morse, City of Ely, Fall Lake Township, and then St. Louis County. And different parties have also been a part of that over the years, and they come and go with different agreements. When you start to collect lodging tax in that area, again, a lodging tax board was put in place, and then they needed to create the Ely Area Tourism Bureau as the DMO, or the Destination Marketing Agency organization, excuse me, that gets that revenue from the lodging tax and spends it on marketing. When you start collecting lodging tax in an area, that's what you need to use that lodging tax for, is the customers are paying that extra lodging tax when they book a hotel or book a resort. It goes to the local DMO, again, that Destination Marketing Organization, and we continue to market the area so people continue to come and stay overnight. So the Ely Area Tourism Bureau has been around since 1986 in different iterations and in different housing, but generally we've been working and using that lodging tax for a long time, which has been great. I think I've said this, but just to kind of really lay it out there, are resorts, hotels, bed and breakfast, short-term rentals like Airbnb and VRBO. Those are the people that collect lodging taxes from their customers. It's an additional 3% onto their bill. Lodging tax is what our budget consists of. So generally what we are promoting and advertising are reasons for people to come to this area and stay overnight, or 5 or 20, as long as they want. But so generally just the system and the logic there is we're getting this lodging tax from these resorts and hotel owners. So therefore we continue to market to keep that train on its tracks. Any major concerns or questions so far? Should I just keep rolling? Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so now we're getting into the weird stuff. Here's the weird stuff. Okay, let me click over here. Generally, there's 2 murky areas in this process. One is online travel agencies like Airbnb, VRBO, Expedia, Booking.com, etc. That's a whole new world. That's kind of recent, of being able to do all your booking online. Some hotels and resorts are also moving to those platforms. So that's just like a system thing, and I'll get more into that. And then another problem, which happens in Ely discussions a lot, is that this area on that map I showed you is in 2 different counties. And so anytime, if you're following tax money around, it moves through the counties very differently. And so our district our Ely Area Tourism Bureau is trying to be as organized and efficient and as polished as possible, but running into these 2 problems, it makes it murky, and we are really working hard to resolve these things. So online travel agencies like VRBO, Airbnb, I won't say them all every single time, they can collect lodging tax automatically for a business, in particular if they are within a county that has a county-wide tax. So imagine yourself starting an Airbnb, you're online, you're clicking all the buttons, you say you're in Lake County because you live out in Fall Lake Township, it'll have a little button that says, hey, we can do this for you. We can automate this lodging tax for you. Doesn't that sound nice? Boom, people click yes, and just like, it's happening. I'm doing my due diligence. I am collecting my lodging tax. It's going to Lake County, no harm, no foul. And then the issues that we run into are getting that lodging tax back from Lake County. So Lake County has their own tourism bureau, their own whole system, and Fall Lake is in Lake County. But again, it's been a struggle and an ongoing conversation to get that lodging tax back to the Ely Area Tourism Bureau that was spent in Fall Lake. We don't want their whole budget. We just want the Fall Lake budget. In addition, another thing about Lake County is they actually have a 4% lodging tax. They have an additional 1% for events. They want to start having more events in Lake County, which is great. Events are fun. We're at one right now. So in addition to the 3% lodging tax that we work pretty hard to get back from Lake County, they have an additional 1% being collected that's specifically for events. And that additional 1% has been extra difficult to get back from Lake County. So this St. Louis County isn't perfect either. It just has different problems. So St. Louis County doesn't have a countywide tax, so it's a little looser. Conversations are a little easier because everyone's like, I don't really know. And so again, tracking lodging tax, if it gets spent in St. Louis County somewhere, we need to make sure we're tracking where these payments are being made, to what county they're being paid to what state they're being paid to, and making sure that it's getting back to our joint powers board and to our tourism bureau. Yeah. Sure. Well, when you start collecting lodging tax in an area, so our joint powers board, like that map shows, that's our area. We have a joint powers board made. Any resort owner or hotel owner who needs to start collecting lodging tax, and that should be going to that area's tourism bureau. So yes, that money should be making its way back to us. Legally, I'm afraid to say yes legally, but as far as I know, yes. And I'd be open to that changing if anybody knows more. But that is the appropriate structure for those things to get back. And I don't want to point my finger at Lake County with so much intensity, because they are saying like, well, if you want that 1% event tax back, then host an event in Lake County, and like, let's have the conversation. So it's not all weaponized and angry, don't get me wrong, but it has been challenging to streamline that system. Thanks for the question. So again, it's just murky. and I'll add too, with the online travel agency thing, where they're automatically collecting lodging tax for some businesses, but not for all. Again, we're just losing track of where those taxes are going, and we're working really hard to get them back. They're trying to increase their revenue. Airbnb is trying to make tons of money, and that's great for them. They don't necessarily care about the Ely Area Tourism Bureau and our efforts. So part of our job and part of what we are up to is working on streamlining that system. There is a handout. Or Lacey, did you want to ask something? That's a good question. I mean, if you're booking with somebody, you could ask like, hey, are you compliant with your lodging tax payments? You could ask that question, and they should know the answer. Yes, and in tandem to that, the Tourism Bureau and the Joint Powers Board want to help too. Like, we have ideas and systems and proposals to help and to formalize our district and make this all work. So it's also, what we could use is support. If you live in one of our townships or in the area and you hear of these things coming up to get these things formalized, we would love your support in that. That's helpful. I think on a one-on-one basis, it's tough. You could ask them that question again. But I think a long-term solution is our district moving together to fix this stuff together. Okay, so there's this visual aid put together. I handed it out for some buddy tabling. You can follow along if you like, but this is just to show everybody how these tax dollars move through the system and eventually get back to our budget. I think this has a little laser. Woo! So $100 for a room, and it's in the city of Ely, let's say. So that 3% or $3 that is lodging tax that's submitted actually to Cook County. Surprise, another county in the mix. Our current system is we use the auditor and administrators in Cook County to collect these. Again, this is a totally fixable, I wouldn't even call it a problem right now, but we could get this streamlined. But for now, just roll with me. Those lodging taxes get sent to Cook County. They reserve a 2% administrative fee. So then $294 comes out of there for all of our City of Ely, Morse, Town of Morse, Fall Lake Town, or sorry, for that side of our district, goes through Cook County to our Joint Powers Board. They review the Tourism Bureau's budget and allocate those funds to us for us to keep marketing the area. If you are in Lake County or down in Fall Lake Township, again, there's a 4% lodging tax happening over there. This gets sent because Lake County has a formal countywide tax. The system is slightly different. So that lodging tax initially gets sent to the state of Minnesota, who reserves a 2% administrative fee. The state of Minnesota pays what's left over to Lake County. Lake County takes a quarter of this, or that extra 1% for their event fund, and then sends us, that extra 3% or 3/4 of the payment back to the Joint Powers, and again to the Tourism Bureau and Board. And then that ends up being our budget. So again, this is what's currently going on. I'll get to, I don't know when the slides will come up. There are some solutions to get things cleaned up, but this is the current flow of lodging tax money from in our area back to the Tourism Bureau. It's different depending on the county. Yep, and that's a good question too. Just like paying sales tax, if like I pay sales tax for the Meadows business that I own, some people pay monthly, some people pay quarterly, some people pay annually, some people forget to pay, and so then it comes in 6 months later. Same with lodging tax. So we will get monthly or quarterly reports from the different counties of what our lodging tax revenue looks like, but it's never accurate. You need to wait until another 6 months or even another quarter into the following year to really know what your numbers were for last year. So we'll do our best to get the bulk of our budget done, but we will also know that there's going to be carryover from extra payments, late payments that are coming in. And for whatever that's worth, if you do ever see quarterly lodging tax reports, that's an easy thing to forget, is that this isn't all the information yet. They're giving you what the information they have, but again, some things are delayed just because of humans being humans. STR stands for short-term rental. Yes, thank you for asking that. Short-term rentals. Let me see, gotta click through some things here. So we, in our process of organizing and getting things finessed, we have run our own numbers, looking at Lake County, looking at the amount of space that Fall Lake Township takes up in Lake County, what their total lodging tax revenue is. Like, we're just doing our best to estimate what amount of money we could be missing out on by not getting that full return of our lodging tax from Lake County. Our best estimate is around $31,000. And it'd be awesome to have that money in our budget for the sake of supporting more and more local programs. We would love to be doing that. But yeah, again, we just wanted to get a ballpark, and we know that there's more precise measurements we could be using to get the information we need. I won't spend too long on this, but this short-term rental, online travel agency, countywide tax problem that I've been trying to articulate is not unique to us. This happens all over the place, especially with a huge onset of internet rental, etc. There are companies out there. We've been talking to Granicus, which has a super comprehensive software to help clean up this whole system. I won't do the whole pitch to you because it is what it is. But these people have the technology and the power to get the information we really want, is all the addresses of all of the short-term rentals in that entire area, so we can start to understand, get those people on board with being compliant, paying their lodging taxes to the right county, to the right people, and getting that train on the tracks. So this is a project we're pursuing with Granicus and with the Joint Powers Board to help with this whole process. Yeah, Bert. Mhm. So you're asking if does lodging tax do the camps in the area like Widgewagon or Outward Bound? Did they pay lodging tax? So generally, no, because they don't have unless they have short-term rentals, and that's actually a great question. Like I know Denord has family camps and weekend camps, so that's a good question. Actually, putting it that way, I think would the answer would be yes for that type of establishment. But I think Outward Bound, who is an expedition school, is yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a fair question. I don't know exactly. Let's see here. Okay, one thing I just want to add to that is that we don't just want information and we don't just want to be greedy and get all the money. That's not our angle. We also want to offer all of these short-term rentals out there resources to be a better business, to represent our area better. If they need checklists for how to run an Airbnb or a VRBO, sorry, I'm not trying to just poke on Airbnb so much. But we have ideas and systems for what we could also offer them. When people are marketed to and we say like come to the Ely area, this is what it's going to be, we want them to show up to a short-term rental and feel like they're getting what they thought they were going to get. So again, we do have ideas and projects in the mix to be able to offer all of these businesses something in return for being compliant with their lodging tax and being a united front in our district. Okay, that was the nitty gritty. Hopefully the rest of this is a little easier, a little lighter. Um, but yeah, that's a project we're working on. I do want to showcase what we're up to and what we do with our budget, and how we show the world what's happening up here in this area. Sometimes people call Ely the end of the road. It's not really on the way to anywhere. So people who come to visit here choose to come here. It's not a pass through town. So if we want families or individuals or whoever to choose to come here, we are entering into a loud, noisy world of marketing and advertising, and we're competing with other places. We're competing with Branson, Missouri. We're competing with Asheville, North Carolina. We're competing with Grand Marais, who all have tourism bureaus putting content into the world, and we are competing with them to keep people's attention and make the choice to come here, stay overnight, eat at a restaurant, shop at some shops, etc. And I am so humbled to be the one representing the content that this group of people puts out into the world, really. If you want to grab this QR code with your phone, you're welcome to. This takes you to our digital resource guides that we've been working on. What's showcased here is the spring and summer guide, which is a absolutely comprehensive, beautiful guide for people to come to this area and have everything they need. These guides are full of safety precautions. They're full of packing lists, destinations within the area, seasonal and nature facts, stories and history. Everything is linked to the nonprofits or the websites you need to go to. And they're really, really beautiful and very useful. Please take some time and look at these and pass them around to the people in your life. They're, even if you don't use them functionally, they're just nice to look at, really. This is showcasing our winter guide. A couple of nice visuals there. And again, there's so much going on in this area. It's not just about I guess we want to highlight and showcase as much as we can motorized and non-motorized recreation. Both of those things happen up here a lot. And we want all those people to come up here and have options and get a taste of what's happening up here. Oops, clicked the wrong spot. Some more just photos and content that's going out in the world. Some really nice fall and shoulder season marketing to encourage people to come up here, check out the ATV trails. So nice. In terms of how we measure what we're doing, we use some pretty serious marketing and advertising channels. We use iHeartMedia and get our commercials and sound bites out on podcasts and radio all over the place. When you see the word impressions, that's just how many people this reached, how many people clicked on this or heard it or had the opportunity. It doesn't necessarily mean that they booked a hotel, but this is just how many people heard this this information. And so our channel, what we are investing in with our content is this is reaching almost 2 million people, which is fantastic. We use Effect TV for video commercials on YouTube, in the Google universe, wherever, when people are clicking around. I'm sure we've all consumed media before and you see videos that people can swipe through or not. Generally, I think a great piece of information here is that in our industry, a 60% view through rate is a good benchmark, and the content our team creates gets a view through rate of 94%. So people, when they see our video or our content, they watch it. They slow everything down and they choose it. And again, like if you just think about your own self as a media consumer, not everything gets you. Sometimes you're like, pass, next, blah, 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 but some things do. And the content that the Ely Area Tourism Bureau is creating is stopping people and they are tuning in. It's beautiful and wonderful and really impressive. Similar ideas with with emails and blogs that we're creating. Our industry averages are listed over here in this black box, an open rate of 33%, click rate of 2%. And when we look at our emails that we're sending out, again, we are far surpassing average opens and clicks for what we're sharing with the world. Yes, absolutely. So in terms of our opening of emails, again, the average open rate is 33%. We're looking at anywhere between 48 and 55% open rates. Clicking through rates, like interacting with the email, the links that we're giving people, averages 2.5%, and we're looking at 8.5 to 9.5% of click through on the content we're sending people. So again, I just can't say it enough. In a busy world of advertising, the marketing team we have is excellent, truly. How are we doing on time here? I don't wanna... Okay, great. We are currently partnered with the Superior National Forest, just showing the world that Ely has a ton to offer, including the Boundary Waters and the Superior National Forest. It's a huge asset to our community. We want to showcase this to the world, show people that you can have a great experience up here in this forest. It has tons to offer you. Some content we put out in the world, again, is almost hitting 2 million people kind of interacting with it, which again is a massive reach. Okay, this is some fun stuff. If it wasn't fun already, just wait. In our industry, the tourism marketing industry, again, I've used that word destination marketing organization. There is a pull to reconsider that and call yourself a destination management organization or a destination stewardship organization. Tourism can take a lot from a place. It's a lot of service. It's a lot of resources. And so tourism bureaus and these entities can also help. We can help with our local economy and help make sure that our community isn't getting sucked dry by tourism. And so one thing that we're really excited about is helping some local event programs. Again, we have lots of partners, but Something we're doing now is partnering with a few groups or events annually. We offer them our services of helping branding, helping content creation, and then we take what they have created and funnel it through our already well-established marketing channels. Everything that I just showed you of the click-through rate of the videos and the radio and all that stuff, these organizations are getting that same push to that many people, telling them that the Ely has a film festival going on, Ely has a winter festival going on, we have a marathon going on. That is a really fun project for us. It helps us be more engaged with the community, and groups and clubs that we are also a part of. So that's been really enjoyable, and it's going really well. We're happy to do that. And again, if you notice, the events listed up here are events that draw people to the area to stay overnight. That's mostly what we have to prioritize that in terms of how we work. But multi-day events, reasons for people to book a hotel, book a resort. That's who we're prioritizing, as well as prioritizing events happening in fall, winter, spring. Whoa, I'm not keeping up with my clicks. So yeah, just some visuals of some content we created for the Ely Winterfest here. I won't go into too much detail, other than again just helping them with their branding, helping them with content creation, handing it back to them so they can still use it on their own terms, but again pushing it through our own channels as well. Film Fest, some great feedback from them. Another project, not sure if you've heard of it, is we're partnered with the Heritage Preservation Commission out of the city of Ely, creating a Tour Ely pamphlet. It will be digital and paper, and it is so comprehensive and so fun and so cool. They're almost done with this project, with a beautiful map, and we're really excited about offering this and having this available at all the spots in Ely. This is a year-round activity you could do, whether snow comes or not in winter. Somebody could pick this up and have a good time in Ely. So we're trying to make it some sustainable projects and ideas that can live in Ely for a long time. Okay. So we do really enjoy what we do, and we're really proud of what we do. And we want to keep our revenue and our budget intact. We really do. And this is hitting on a couple things. Marketing for a place like us could easily be contracted out. A marketing agency out of the Twin Cities or Chicago could be hired to market for the area. That's absolutely an option. But this area has chosen to create a marketing team who lives here, who works here, who is totally involved in the community. And not only are they from here and they're local, but they're top tier professional people. And we really want to keep that. We're really proud of that. And we're really proud to be a place where people can work in this town and do good work. Another thing this touches on is I believe that with any tax, it's easy for information to be spread and misunderstood about how that process works. And I spent like 25 minutes trying to describe it, and it's complicated and complex. But again, we have a great understanding of it. We have great ideas of how to keep using it. In a different world, each local partner that I just showed, we could just write them a check for $7,000, like, and they can just do their own marketing. But when you do that, you absolutely lessen the impact and effect and reach that you can have. So again, our marketing team has established these amazing channels and amazing reach that we are getting, and we want to keep that and just funnel local events and local programs through those things. So that's where we're coming from. We also want to be at the table. We want to be supportive and flexible. We want Ely to thrive. We want Ely's culture to be healthy. We want Ely's economy to be healthy. We want to be a part of it. So we want to be at the table. So please invite us to conversations if you think we can be helpful. Here's just some more examples of some partners that we are working with. Um, Happy to have these people on our team and happy to keep working with them. We get a lot of good feedback. The people we work with tell us that it was helpful. They tell us that we're doing good work. They tell us that we're professional, and we really appreciate that feedback. And it inspires us to keep going and to keep doing our jobs. So yeah, a couple kind of solutions or places we're headed is we are working on a resource website for all that lodging tax information. If you are a business owner who had, if you own an Airbnb or whatever it is, we want to give you information. We want to be on your team and offer you resources and help to keep your train on the tracks and to keep our train on the tracks. Um, we also are always working to keep our funding intact and making sure that we can tell the world what we're doing and how important it is to keep that funding intact. Um, and also Granicus. We would love to use that software to define our district, get that information collected, and really formalize everything we're doing in that tax system. And hopefully someday give you a different visual aid that's a simplified, more streamlined version of how lodging tax moves around this area. Isn't that isn't that beautiful? Is anybody who made that video in the room right now? Priscilla Brooke in the house. And again, would anybody be willing to share if you could imagine if you had a good experience of imagining you weren't from here? Like, what did you see in that beauty? We live in a beautiful place, and I think maybe we forget about it, maybe not always, but it's our job, the Tourism Bureau's job, to showcase that. I'll add in that our next digital resource guide, because we've done the seasonal ones, our next one is arts and culture in the area. So we're really excited about that. And then if you could imagine a video we share with the world with that lens of the arts and culture scene in this area. So that's on its way too. Super exciting. I know I've said it a million times, but I really am like honored and humbled to represent the marketing team. They are the ones that collect this and create it and send it into the world. It makes me feel feelings seeing it and knowing the work they put into it. A few of them are in the back. Sarah Vogel, Whitney Woods, and Chris Ellerbrook, and Lacey's here too as the podcast host. So really, thank you to them and to everybody else. Yes, beautiful. And yeah, thanks again for your time and listening to me say some things. I hope it was illuminating. I hope it was interesting, and I'm happy to answer any questions if people have any.